Baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do.
Copyright do.
Welcome. Oh, you son of a
Leave it.
bitch.
You're going with that voice?
Leave it. Do it.
We're going with that one.
Go.
Welcome, horrible people, to the Horrible Opinions podcast, where we're gonna divulge into some dark dankness of Sharkside of the Moon. With you, as always, is your lovely, horrible host, Kenny, and...
I'm divulging that I'm here too, and I'm Daniel. Great.
Ryan is also here.
Fantastic.
This movie, guys.
Let's go to the shark side of the moon, boys. We just watched
This movie.
Oh God. So look, we went into this. There's no pre-watch thoughts other than this looks like a movie. I have a theory, and it held up here, about random movies, and that's the cooler the cover art seems, the worse the movie is.
Also, it's a really good title, though.
And yeah, the better the title, it's like, and I identify as this myself, like
You identify as a shark on the moon?
a shark in the moon. No, as a person who could come up with really good titles and really good ideas and just fall flat on the execution. Case in point, Us.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
I know.
Let's turn this off.
Yeah, burn it.
That's kind of what I thought watching this thing. I actually had like predictions I made before watching it based just on the poster. Because looking at it, I'm like, okay, I got monster, I got alien shark, shark side of the moon. So here's what I predict. We will always be in a moon base. We will never actually be in the moon. There's the sharks are going to somehow swim through like the regolith of the moon dust and all that jazz. Somehow the sharks are genetic experiments, and we're going to get a lot of Jaws references, like we're going to need a bigger ship.
Yeah.
Or something along that lines. And I was wrong on a lot of those.
I didn't think they would be like just shark people.
Talk like sharks, look like people.
Talk like shark,
people.
look like people. I didn't think that would happen.
Look, first off, I think you may have had a hand in writing the movie.
What?
Secondly,
Ryan?
yes. Secondly, I thought it was going to be were sharks. Like,
Why would you? That's a different movie.
that's
called Were Sharks.
That's the movie I wanted to see.
Astronauts who got bit by a shark and then turned on the moon.
On the moon.
That would have been amazing.
We never had to go to the moon in my movie. Like, you know how much it costs to go to the moon? We didn't have to do that. We could have stayed on Earth.
Looking at this movie, I guess it's expensive.
I mean,
Because they didn't go.
What, you think they switched out blue screens after each take? Or
Well, I don't know. What? I don't think that's how that works.
you don't get Tanya Fox for cheap.
Look, I wanted one thing from this movie, and that was cool monster suits. And I kind of got one.
Instead, you got Shark Sheriff.
Instead, I got CGI Shark Sheriff.
It's like they got the guy who did King Shark from Suicide Squad. They got his little brother or sister to come do their version of a CG bipedal shark thing.
Now, I'm not sure on the legality, but couldn't they just rip that CG model out of that movie and just use it?
I'm not entirely
stick that
certain
shit
that's
in
not what
Unreal
they
and just
did.
go. It
Well,
looked super
no.
shitty, so I don't think they did. Oh, they did like one of those demakes. They turned it into a PS1 game.
It's not even quite like, if you look at just the shark people renderings, they were fine, but then you put it next to another person, or whenever you have it jump into the real scene, that's when it looked like shitty.
Okay, I can fix this then.
No human.
No.
Why does
no
every
humans.
movie have to
We're
have
just
a human in
following
it?
these sharks around.
I'm tired of these
Which
human movies.
which one of you wants to give the quick elevator synopsis of this?
Oh yeah, we just kind of went right into this.
We started talking about our favorite parts really quickly.
You guys have favorite parts?
I actually do have a couple favorite parts. Yeah.
No, I enjoyed things.
I do.
Daniel, give us a synopsis.
Okay, 1984, Soviet Union's still a thing, I guess. I'm not big on history. I don't even know what that is.
Before your time.
They're bad guys. They're genetically engineering sharks for reasons, and two scientists are horsing around at their secret base where they're housing these sharks. They fuck up the laser grid that's containing these genetically modified sharks who speak Russian. So then sharks escape, and to prevent the sharks from getting into the ocean, and fucking everything up because they're big on like what's the word where you don't want to like fuck up a cut this.
You're drowning like there's a joke in here somewhere. I can feel it.
I've reached for my coffee. We're taking a mid-break pause.
Should we
it's all good.
Is this the part where we insert like a record scratch where one of us takes over because you've had a brain aneurysm trying to recall past the first 10 minutes of this
Much
movie?
like our characters when they're trying to survive in the ocean and they have to get back to
Bad
land.
decisions have been made.
Stroke.
Point is, the sharks get lured onto a space shuttle, a prepped and already ready to go space shuttle that's just there for some reason, and the Russians send them into space. And then what happens after that? So then years later, astronaut team, they're going to the moon to do science things, I assume, and they get to the moon, and then sharks start eating them, and then they gotta escape from the moon with the Russian help, and sharks are Russian. There you go.
Sharkside of the moon, everybody.
I'm pretty sure that was it.
3 out of 10 stars on IMDb.
There's sharks on the moon.
Kind of.
Did I get that right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're bipedal humanoid sharks that speak Russian.
Guys, I'm embarrassed.
You should be.
I'm embarrassed for you. I'm embarrassed for everyone involved.
In this movie?
Well, okay. Let's look. Someone has shown this movie to their grandmother, and she loves it. This made her laugh. This is the best thing she's seen since Corn.
Oh,
hey!
Yeah.
So
Babushka loved it. Okay, who's making it out of this movie? Who's getting a career out of this movie?
Well, if I was in the movie, I would have had a brain aneurysm.
You might have been in the movie from the sounds of things.
Who's having a career out of this?
Yeah, who's coming out of this schlock?
who's the most unscathed?
The shark Russian girl.
Yeah, the CGI sharks.
I mean,
So there's Acula.
Acula, yeah.
that's Akula.
No, she's the Dracula, but without the D.
Look,
And without the R.
I mean, okay, yes, we have our shark, our more humanoid shark lady, Akula,
who I totally mentioned in my synopsis.
who you totally mentioned in your synopsis, and then you brought up Russian and not the fact that that's the Russian word for shark.
Is it?
It is.
How am I supposed to know that?
IMDb.
Oh, sorry, I'm not spark notesing it up over here.
Oh, well, some of us are professionals. That's literally the only trivia.
The only trivia is that Dracula spelled backwards is Alucard.
Guys, can we just let's cut to the scene that like just defines what this movie is gonna be, and that's when the American astronauts meet the Russians. Because this, for me, I know maybe for you, Daniel, is where I had to switch gears in my head
yes.
as to what my expectations were going to be.
Before this, a lot of my notes were like, that's not science.
Wait. It was only when the Americans met the Russians that you had to switch gears?
Well, because before I was doing like some like Kerbal physics stuff, like that's not good, this wouldn't work, that wouldn't work. You guys aren't acting like astronauts. But once you see the Russians, the two Russians, and they're just wearing little shitty hats on their head.
Okay, first off, only one of them had the chainmail hat on the moon. And it makes sense.
Oh, that's right. The other one could just breathe on the moon because she's a shark.
Right.
I forgot.
Well, he had an oxygen tank running to his nose. His whole...
Yeah, I have a note about that. What is my note? Forget air, right? Forget air. Moon, still cold.
Yes. The vacuum of space.
Yes.
Yes, because the moon does not have an atmosphere.
Correct.
But...
So even if he has this little oxygen thing, his face is still exposed.
You're not thinking properly.
Oh.
Chainmail, okay, generates a lot of heat.
It's moonstone is the thing.
Moon chainmail generates a lot of heat. And you don't have to worry about it being heavy because you're on the moon. It's the most practical piece of fashion you could wear on the moon. And some would say 100% of the people on the moon were wearing it.
You mean right now? 100% of the people on the moon right now?
Probably.
The Russians were raw dogging it on the moon as medieval pikemen on oxygen tanks, and speaking into the vacuum of space, and our American astronauts were still able to communicate with them.
On the moon, yes.
Because they haven't seen Apollo 13.
Who has, you know? I couldn't get through the first 12.
That's fair. There are a lot.
Challenge me.
The next thing I'd like to put forth for consideration, Midnight Society. All the sharks look like they're out of a Fallout game in terms of their costuming.
Yeah, because they're just putting random shit on.
Well, there's not really a lot of material on the moon.
Well, there's breastplates, there's apparently leather, there's one that looked like a Starfish Wrestling Federation belt.
There's a sheriff badge.
Don't forget about the coconuts.
Coconuts.
The coconut bra.
Coconut bra.
Why do the sharks have breasts?
Why did one shark have a CGI hook hand? These are questions only... Look, one character literally says nature finds a way in this movie, and I died a million deaths inside.
See, that's why I think we shouldn't have had any people, any astronauts coming to visit. The movie should have been from the perspectives of the shark, and they're basically playing RimWorld, trying to set up a little shark colony on the moon.
Look, they were up there for how many years by themselves? Was it 40, 20?
40-ish?
40-ish years. I want that movie. I want to see when the sharks land there, and you know what? We have to make a society to survive on the moon for now. That's the movie. That's the movie you make there. Not this.
Agreed.
But, okay, we're really jumping ahead here.
I'm trying to get done with this episode.
I'm trying to jump this shark as much as possible. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's go back to...
Sharks, don't have legs. No.
Look, they have legs. They can jump themselves. Thank you very much. Let's talk about how...
Remember that time one of the sharks did a running tackle of somebody?
It's fine.
It was pretty good.
They would have had Shark Moon NFL at some point.
All right.
So we get here. We got the Russian lab. Okay, you know, and we're genetically modifying these sharks into these humanoid hybrids.
As you do.
Which is very impressive. And so we
It's very impressive. Good work.
We imagine this is a pretty tight operation. Like, these are scientists in a secure lab that probably, you know, has all these rules and stuff to make sure crazy shit doesn't happen. And they've got the sharks in a containment field with like a laser grid that's just wide open, like we're in the same room as this, sitting there with a console. One scientist is minding his business, working on the console.
He's got a name. His name is Aloysia.
Yes.
My boy Aloysia is doing some grab ass.
Aloysia. So, you know, spooks the other scientists, and a nice metal feeding bucket goes flying into the completely exposed shark containment center, breaking the laser grid. They don't even care that the bucket goes flying in that direction. Like, don't even think two things of it. They're too busy grab-assing. And that's how our sharks escape. And it's a very important lesson you guys need to learn here, is you don't go grab-assing.
You don't do a grab.
Don't do a grab in your high-tech science lab.
No horsing around. That's why the shop teacher was always telling you to quit horsing around.
Right, you're going to chop your thumb off in the table saw.
And then you're going to let your little sharks out.
Yeah, and then you're going to have this movie, and it's been damaging people for years.
A week.
Okay, it came out this year. But, and then, you know, they murder everyone on the Russian lab, and then we, of course,
I covered all this.
As you said, it's randomly attached to like a rocket, and we shoot to the moon.
Just some Kerbal physics. That rocket was obviously fueled up for X amount of weight, and then they put more weight on it of sharks, so really that rocket wouldn't go anywhere.
I mean, it didn't land well, so they gave it that.
No, they wouldn't have even gotten there.
You don't know Russian technology.
I know Kerbal physics.
I'm not doubting you, but I don't believe you.
There were active volcanoes on the moon, guys.
Even though they say at the start of the movie there are no active volcanoes on the moon.
You know what else they probably thought at the start of the movie?
No sharks on the moon.
No sharks. And you probably needed a spacesuit to walk around on the moon. All these were lies.
Well, they do get a spacesuit.
They didn't
You know what?
They didn't need it.
I'm coming full circle on this. This is like the best type of speculative science fiction. This is the type that projects an impossible thing, but maybe we could achieve it in the future. You know what I'm saying?
I think
no.
This is elevating the human condition.
I think giving sharks legs and allowing them to come onto land is the opposite of what we want.
However, I think giving sharks breasts is the way to go.
Well, what's better, shark breasts or lizard people breasts?
I mean, they're both great for the coconut bra industry.
Oh, obviously they're going to wear coconut bras, like all of them. Because, they're still going to want to be around water, so they're going to live that island life.
How'd you guys feel when the guy stuck the oxygen tank between his legs and then took off like he was on a Harry Potter broom?
It's the moon. It seemed like it would work to me.
I mean, that's part of your NASA training.
You think he was in like a Quidditch league? Like a Muggle Quidditch league back on Earth?
Yeah, let's just air out all our complaints here. What else you got?
There were so many characters in this thing.
Were there?
Count how many actors. Okay, we've got the blonde captain lady. I'll call her Ripley because I can't remember her name, but she's captain.
Commander Nicole Tress.
Look at you. You're amazing.
Because I'm professional.
He's on the IMDb. I guarantee it.
Then we got the substitute guy who she's had a relationship with, and then we got a woman who helps with piloting, and then we got, I think, the redhead who's like a botanist, and then we got the guy sitting next to her.
Don't forget the Uwe Boll face acting guy.
That's 6. And that's just for the American launch. We started with another woman who, I don't know why we needed a scene of her being on the bridge.
Was that mission control worker number 1?
Oh my god, no, I'm just talking about people in the cockpit.
They just wanted that motorcycle scene.
Look, they're all beautiful to me. The most beautiful in the movie, though, to me, it was probably that Henry guy, Konstantin Podprigin.
What? Who?
I believe he was the one who had his leg bitten off.
Oh, shark torture.
Oh, yeah.
Which he's my pick for who makes it out of this movie with a career.
Well, his leg gets bit off and then he goes, ow!
I mean,
I'll tell you everything. I'm like, oh man.
I'm sorry. If bipedal sharks are chomping on me on the moon, I didn't prepare for that in my astronaut training. So I'm going to give it up too. They should have told me that was a possibility.
Can we talk about how the Russian comrades in this are telling the American side, don't use your communication devices because they'll send electromagnetic waves and the sharks will be able to track it? Here, use this infrared conversation device. It's the same we're using in our spacesuits. And then they pull out a walkie-talkie.
That definitely happened.
Look, they're still using Cold War technology. They were able to make shark people, and then they upgraded walkie-talkies. Why change the way it looks? It's fine.
That definitely happened. All right, so there's one. I know we're jumping around,
yeah,
but
we are.
Can we jump to the end?
this movie breaks you. Yeah, we're almost there.
Okay.
But there's just one. Look, I'm playing a lot of role-playing games recently,
Yeah.
right? And there's a scene in here where we've got like 3 or 4 characters. They're in their ship, and the sharks have taken over. For some reason, they haven't killed them, and they're having a little, dialogue. And the humans are trying to negotiate with the sharks, and the captain says, you know what? You should let us go. We'll come back with supplies. Humans made you. We can help you. And in my head, I'm just thinking, oh, man, yeah, roll your persuasion check with disadvantage. That is the worst.
You can certainly try.
That is the worst pitch. I mean, what?
Let's be honest. Throughout this whole movie, they were all rolling like 3s on performance.
Oh, for the acting?
Yes.
No, the one guy with the Uwe Boll face acting guy, he was rolling 20s.
Yeah, I didn't believe her. I'm just like, don't trust that American.
Nah, man, we'll come back. We'll bring you guys stuff.
Yeah, they just killed your shark babies.
Oh my god, though, but the baby sharks.
We've always loved sharks. I have a shark tattoo on my lower back. You want to see it?
I wanted to be a shark doctor for free. You didn't even need insurance.
I was the first one to say I love sharks, wasn't I, guys?
Whole time.
There's also a point where they're talking and they're trying to get a message back to Earth from the ship. The gist of the message is, we can warn Earth that the sharks are not to be trusted.
Yeah.
They're not.
That's a line in this movie.
Don't trust the shark. Well, it's really don't trust Russians.
I would say that's a yeah.
'Cause if these were American sharks,
Oh, we'd be all for it.
be a whole different thing.
They'd all have like American flag tattoos.
Because they'd be fat and with red MAGA caps on them.
Uh
That's the movie I want.
Well, I have notes.
Oh, God.
Wait, what have we been doing?
No,
if you're not,
no. Okay,
you
here's...
haven't even...
How about what 2 or 3 things or moments in whatever this is that you were like, okay, I can see it's a movie now. And now it's not. But for that brief moment, it was a movie. Now, can you tell me, like, what were those moments for you?
Baby sharks in the eggs are cute as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
I started taking shots every time there was a Jurassic Park reference.
Okay.
That made it better. Let's see. This was a thought I had. The sharks themselves don't look altogether bad.
Well, that's like symbolism, because you look at a Russian, they just look like people.
I mean, they are people. But Queen Shark has some cheeks back there that could be clapped.
I thought the queen shark was skinny.
She had some cheeks. She turned around and they're like, we're going to pad this shark just a little bit back there.
She's not skipping leg day. She's getting in all the squats.
She was skipping arm day, though.
Yes.
How's she going to pick me up the way that I demand to be picked up?
Daniel, what were your like golden moments?
Shark base looked cool.
Base so nice. They showed it to us like 3 or 4 times.
They showed it to us 18 times.
Using the same CGI model shot, and it looks good.
We worked hard on this.
It does look good. It looks...
Yeah, we got to see the same shot like 3 or 4 times because of how well it looked.
Oh, it looked good.
Should have seen it more.
Yeah, all the CG looked good except for when people were near it.
Ooh, that's the like Star Wars prequel problems.
They couldn't quite blend it together. You could tell they were in front of a green screen. Like, I didn't believe they were on the moon.
It looked like they took the moon, like them running around on the moon. Does it look like they took that footage and put it in slow-mo, even though that's not?
It looks like their direction was act like you're moving slowly, and then they also slowed it down.
You're not in slow motion on the moon.
I am.
And then they told them, now act.
Yeah.
And that's where everything fell apart.
More face acting for one guy.
There was one point in this movie where I think they meant it to be a joke, and I actually laughed. And it was when they're having to jump out of their ship and fall down onto the surface of the moon. We got the captain, and then there's one other person with her. And the captain says to him, "You're like, you ready?" And he says, "Ready? Who could be?" And then she says, "Well, too bad." And she kicks him right out the door. And I laughed at that moment. I thought that was nice.
I laughed at a lot of moments in this.
I laughed when she said that gravity is gonna slow you down when they were jumping out.
Look, they're astronauts. Okay, physics is not important.
I'm no scientist.
I had less of a problem believing that than I did about that one American astronaut who, throughout the entire movie, continuously antagonized Acula.
The I don't trust her guy?
Yeah, to her face over and over again, and he kept living. He keeps...
Oh, that's my face acting boy.
Shitting all over the sharks.
What's great about him is when the sharks have like captured them and holding them in a little, I'll call it jail area, he's calling her out for being half shark, even though pretty much through the entire movie she's done nothing but help them and been on their side. And he's, I don't trust her. And her Russian adoptive dad, well, I do. And the American captain's, I do. And he's, well, you didn't let me finish. I mean, of course I did.
I mean, yeah.
I trust her too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, joke is on all of us because she ended up giving one of the best performances, I think, in the movie inside of
best.
Yeah, the best in the little rubber raft at the end of this when it was Akula birthy time.
Hey, where'd that raft come from?
Okay, first off, they have those in case of water landings and shuttles.
Okay, do they have those in case of water landings and sharks?
Well, yeah, because sharks get tired.
And they need a place to rest.
Okay.
So, yeah, there were a couple things with her giving birth. So she's like, well, I've never got down with anyone.
Well, hold up. How did they get there?
They flew back to the Earth.
How did they fly back to Earth?
Weren't they trying to repair the Russian ship with the parts from the American ship?
Did you watch this movie?
Look, I told you, drinking became involved.
Okay, the shark leader chucks all the remaining crew into the mouth of the large catfish shark.
Which was great.
He gobbles them down.
Well, I thought that was fun.
And then he gets launched into space by the volcano erupting.
Yes.
And then they enter Earth's atmosphere in the shark.
Uh-huh.
Shark splashes down.
Yes.
A life raft pops up from somewhere with our characters in it. Where did that life raft come from?
That was already established.
Yeah.
I think you missed that part.
Kenny's just saying, yeah. He's just pretending like he had no idea this happened.
Look, I told you. Oh, maybe I didn't tell you this. There were 5s and 10s of minutes every now and then where I just stared at this movie, and my soul left my body.
Oh, that sounds good. I have one note about Akula birthday time, and it's, oh, how embarrassing.
I got lots of notes.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. First off, it's another Jurassic Park reference because she said she didn't get down with any other sharks, but she just happened to just, get pregnant. That's essentially the same as the dinosaurs just switching gender so they could get pregnant. I know she's, kind of a more humanoid than the other ones, but all of a sudden she's just giving live birth. But do they?
Well, I mean, sharks give live birth.
But I thought it was like an internal egg system.
I think it's like only 40% lay eggs.
Well, I'm no shark expert. But we clearly had shark eggs earlier in the movie.
I mean, not us specifically, because we're men, but...
Okay, moving on.
Of all the things that happened in this movie, this is like the least one that bothers me.
So she had these babies all on her own, according to her, unless she's lying.
We can just say the sharks were engineered to lay eggs. Genetically engineered.
Yeah, so they come out, and they come out still looking like fully like sharkoid, instead of what I would imagine to be more humanoid, like she is.
I don't trust her.
I think she's lying.
When it started happening, my note was...
How embarrassing.
Akula, you hoe-ass bitch.
You...
How dare you judge her? It wasn't her. She didn't have any say in this.
I mean...
You think they have protection on the moon?
I think if you had been paying attention and not getting drunk off of, every Jurassic Park reference, which, to be fair, every about 10 minutes they had to reference one. Somewhere in there they talked about the sharks asexually reproducing by themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's confession time.
Oh God.
I've seen this movie 3 times.
I mean, I know why, but I'm going to ask why.
The name of the movie is...
Sharkside of the Moon.
Sharkside of the Moon. And there just happens to be a Pink Floyd album called...
Dark Side of the Moon.
Sharkside of the Moon. And I'm like, it's one of their better ones, too.
Is this a recent album?
It's a lot of underwater sounds. So I'm like, okay, this works with The Wizard of Oz. What are the chances that this is best little golden Easter egg on Thanksgiving that you're going to find?
Why would you find an Easter egg on Thanksgiving?
Because it was really well hidden.
Okay, I understand.
It's like yeah, exactly. And it's the one with the $20 in it, right?
That has happened.
All right. Let's give this a shot.
Oh, yeah.
And so the beginning of this movie starts with a bunch of NASA public domain footage, and then it transitions to the actual movie from there. And during that transition, there's a musical change in the album right around the same time. And I thought to myself, okay. And then the scene where the sharks get let out, where the sharks throw the bucket back out of their containment system and break it, the bucket comes into frame is when the lyrics of the album kick in.
Oh.
Have they done it? Have they really done it? And the answer is no. They did not.
And
then I decided, well, okay, that one didn't work. What happens if we pull Cher's Believe album and start with that one? And let's see what happens. Nothing much. What happens if we try Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell? The answer is I enjoy listening to Bat Out of Hell.
did it improve the movie?
You know what improved the movie? Not being able to hear anyone speak.
How dare you? How dare you?
So I think now you have to do that with every movie we watch. Because you've now set precedent. So I feel like you have to do it with everything.
I tried to make this movie better.
That's on you. That's on you. You want to know my biggest complaint, I think?
The runtime.
That it was made. The idea is fine, but the dialogue doesn't push the story forward.
Yes.
The words coming out of people's mouths are not words that anyone would ever say, and people were talking within the vacuum of space. I mean,
Oh
no,
my
tell
God.
me what fixes this movie?
Oh no, this ain't gonna fix it. This was just a thing that stuck on me the most. I don't know why. This is the part that bothers me the most. You remember when we first seen the sharks on the moon as the Americans, and they dive down into the solid moon,
And they're trimmers?
and are able to swim through the solid moon faster than they can just run. They're having to go through this rock solid material, like this is not a liquid, and they're just zooming much faster than they can run. How does that make any sense? They got way more resistance. On top of that, I don't recall them doing that ever again in the movie.
They don't ever do it again.
And if they've been doing it in the first place, wouldn't that side of the moon be just absolutely riddled with those cracks? And it happened so early in the movie on the moon that I was hung up on that for the rest of the movie.
Congratulations, you put more thought into it than they did.
We got to, the no spacesuits on the Russian dude and all that, and I'm just like, I don't even care. Let's go back to the sharks swimming through the moon. And that set the tone for me. That's when I knew what movie this was.
I just had a thought, let's replace the human astronauts with Kerbal astronauts.
And have them go to the moon, and it's just the giant catfish shark, and they make friends with it?
Yeah, they ride it.
Because he was the best shark.
I think the sheriff shark was best shark.
Maybe. Possibly. Does Tanya Fox continue to have a career after this, or does she go back to the adult film industry?
I bet she has a career. She was good.
This is the second movie she did with the Ryan Ebert guy wrote. He wrote another movie called Apocalypse of Ice that she was in 2020. 2 more upcoming. One called Rooftop, which is a short, and then she's in a video game called Dark Mean City.
She's in an episode of It's Always Sunny.
Yes, she did.
But most importantly, she's in a Puppet Master film.
2 Puppet Master films.
Sharkside of the Moon. We giving this a recommendation, or what do you think?
Okay, wait, hold on. Fun fact.
Yeah?
Tanya Fox and I share a birthday.
Oh, amazing.
I'm glad this movie exists. I didn't enjoy watching it, but I enjoy talking about it. And I want Tubi to continue to throw money at these random things, because to me, this is one of those movies that back in the day, my father and I would go to the video store, and we would go through these great covers of movies that we knew were going to be bad, and we'd pick them out and we'd watch them. And it was like, maybe 1 out of every 20 tries you'd find something that was amazing. But my lord, we talked about the 19 other tries we continue to talk about those movies. And I don't see us forgetting about Sharkside of the Moon ever.
I don't know, did you listen to me try to give a synopsis of it?
You're just a bad person. You're gonna think about these sharks on the moon. Every now and then you're gonna look up at the moon and you're gonna wonder if I'm looking at that same moon and we're both thinking that there's Russian sharks on the moon. I feel like the 3 out of 10 on IMDb is, I'll allow it.
We could hear what the people were saying. It was in focus.
Not true. That's not always true. I wrote down that some of the sound mixing was weird.
You're weird.
Okay, most of the time we could hear what they were saying. Most of the time we could see what was happening. And I'm pretty sure everyone got paid. So I'm okay with 3 stars.
No, we don't know that.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't see any controversy about not getting paid.
You guys just want to go listen to Pink Floyd's album or something?
I don't think I've ever listened to it.
Oh, podcast over. We have something else to do.
Okay, horrible people. That has been our look at Sharkside of the Moon. And, well, I guess we're going to come back from that at some point. So, with that, we are going to say goodbye. As always, I've been your horrible host, Kenny.
I didn't want to be here this week.
Daniel.
Baby sharks for life, yo.
Rai. Yeah, let's get out of here, guys.
Oh, you're missing the we'll catch you on the dark side of the moon. You're not going to end with that? Oh, my God.
Shut up! Goodbye!
Goodbye.
Bye.